opposition is calling for a complete shutdown of the country to stem the increasing spread of COVID-19.
As I have said for some time now, a national shutdown is not a sustainable long-term solution. To preserve the health of our citizens, we must also preserve the health and functioning of our economy. Over the long haul, you can't do one without the other, cannot be done. To keep vital supply chains running, these chains have to be taken care of so delicately. They're delicate, the balance is delicate. We want to deliver food and medical supply. We must have a working economy, and we want to get it back very, very quickly.
To happen is we've started with St. Catherine, next is likely to be Kingston and St. Andrew, then another parish and another, moving around the mulberry bush, as obtained in Italy.
The results can be different from Italy because Italy started lockdown after they were experiencing a spike in deaths from the virus. While the JLP has already secured Jamaica from imported cases and implemented movement restriction measures. Italy, however, didn't restrict its citizens until when deaths were reported. This is why the results can be in JLP government favor.
I'm saying to you, let's not repeat those mistakes. Now is the time to make plans, adequate plans, not in the manner in the experiment of Tuesday night with St. Catherine. Adequate plans to shut the country down.
Why is PNP officials calling for a total shutdown of the country? The ports of entry are closed and basically only cargo shipping, air and sea is allowed to enter Jamaica. Isn't that enough?
He believes this is the only way to prevent further spread of the virus. Dr. Delahaye is also questioning the government's decision not to use a suggested COVID-19 medication from Cuba.
As I have said for some time now, a national shutdown is not a sustainable long-term solution.
What possesses a government to shut the door on potential products that could help persons who are dying? I would happily want to take chloroquine if that's available. I would happily want to take interferon if I become positive and then become in need of that. There's a University of the West Indies where I work, and just before this program, I spoke with Carl Bruce, who heads up the clinical services at the hospital. We would all be happy.
It's no secret. PNP administration and Cuba has been a political couple since the decades-old Cuban Revolution. Cuba is banking on countries suffering from the coronavirus outbreak to take its antiviral disease-resistant drugs and be rewarded for saving the human race. Hoping its reward would be a total removal of all American sanctions and embargoes on its country, and a welcome to the international community of business and trade.
The People's National Party is chastising the government over the closure of the Compassionate Care Program yesterday. Shadow Minister of Labour and Social Security, Horace Daly, in a release, said the abrupt end will cause more hardship. He's suggesting that the government processes the over 388,000 applications already received.
Opposition administration is needed to find the crack and weak links inside the sitting government. In a crisis such as the coronavirus outbreak, both parties should be working together instead against each other. 2.9 million people in Jamaica. There is no way the JLP administration would be able to efficiently and accurately dispense hundreds of millions of tax dollars to citizens in a pilot program first run. Not even the American government is that brilliant, and they are a first world government. Why would the PNP chase the JLP to complete such a dynamic and complicated process? Only one answer comes to mind: to enable government dysfunction.
He also says the portal should be reopened to allow those who had encountered glitches with the system an opportunity to complete their application. Mr. Daly believes yesterday's closure of the Compassionate Care Program will be too much for these categories of persons to bear. The program was opened to tertiary students, the unemployed, the informally employed, as well as the elderly and pensioners.
We are looking now to the banks and the financial institutions as to what are their stimulus package like. Are they going to rewrite the loans, give moratoriums? We're not hearing that depth from the financial institutions, and this is some cause for concern. That is definitely something that we need to look at. You have small businesses that operate from a day-to-day basis, and the fact is they don't have the reserves to call upon. It is based on cash flow that they got the loans, and when there's no cash flow to pay the loan, then they are in a serious strait.
80% of small and medium-sized businesses created after the 2008-2009 recession won't open back their doors after this pandemic is over. With less and less people traveling, working, and forced to stay home, businesses are unable to earn cash flows. Along with the order to shut their doors and most working with restrictive business hours, I can say this is a recipe for economic disaster. Unable to earn cash flows means unable to pay their rent, bills, and credit loans. Look out for banking sector asking the government for a bailout. Businesses borrow loans from banks and banks lend them customer savings. Banks will be unable to give their customers their savings as they are unable to collect debt owed by businesses. This leads to banking collapse.
Videos circulating online showing a rush to get out of St. Catherine last night, shortly after the Prime Minister announced the lockdown of the parish. These images from the Portmore leg of the toll road as people tried to leave the Sunshine City. The curfew started at 9 p.m. and minutes after 10 p.m. when we were in the area, we saw a few vehicles heading from Portmore into Kingston. We journeyed to the Mandela Highway. This was the Prime Minister Tuesday's press briefing.
I am told that there's quite a panic in the population in Portmore, as we expected. This is part of, we expected, and in St. Catherine.
Panic too at this wholesale. These scenes from AJ's Wholesale in Spanish Town, about minutes to 8 p.m. It was the only food establishment opened in the area at the time. A mad rush as people tried to stock up on food items, again raising concerns about physical distancing rules.
In the announcement of the St. Catherine Parish lockdown, it is normal human reaction to wanting to escape the confined space of announced lockdown. The humor of this exercise a few days ago, however, is the scorned behavior of the Jamaican citizens along with the Ministry of Public Health and Wellness. Your action is nostalgic of the bygone era of plantation slavery, where a slave would escape from a plantation and every village and town the slave would go, he or she was identified as an escaped fugitive and is to be recaptured and brought back to the said came from. This is the big picture being depicted. So sad. But they say the truth hurts, right? China is very selective on human rights and citizen movements. But when they announced the lockdown for Wuhan City, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, people were leaving in droves in cars and subway to other nearby towns. Italy had the same effect when the president announced a lockdown of the country's main city. So why in Jamaica you are being hunted and humiliated in public by JCF members and Ministry of Health staffs?
Mayor of Spanish Town, Norman Scott, has criticized the government for what he calls the hasty manner in which the 7-day lockdown was announced.
This thing catch the people of St. Catherine by night. Is Nicodemus by night catching the people. The Minister of Health called me at 4:45, 5:45 to tell me that a decision has been taken. I'm the chairman of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, and if something like this is going to happen, I would have expected the administration to give me the kind of kudos and to say, well, this is where we are and we are going to do this.
It would seem as if the JLP administration has the opposition PNP administration playing catch up if you can. When situation arises and need quick tactical action along with modification of said executive plan, JLP is on the ball. Infowars Jamaica is neither for JLP or PNP, but Patriot for Jamaica. The facts are there, as in you can observe throughout the past weeks. Prime Minister His Honorable Andrew Holness is performing at optimal level. With the opposition not being able to contribute constructive criticism, it has led citizens to believe it's a good thing JLP has the power, because PNP seems to have lost its shadow in the coronavirus epidemic.